Welcome to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. The first story is called Send an Email. This happened just a few days ago. I work in childcare, and next week we have an assessment and rating. This is where the government comes in and makes sure our service is following all the laws and legislation and all that jazz. During the morning shift, we only need 2 staff. Due to the assessment and rating next week, we have a lot of servicemen come into the center recently. On this fine morning, we had a carpet cleaning service come to the center, which no one told me about. The issue starts when he tells me I need to unlock the gate to the yard so he can drive his van in, which is essential. I tell him sure and go inside to get the keys. I don't know which key opens the gate, so I take all 5-ish lanyards with bunches of keys to the gate and start trying to unlock the gate. After roughly 10 minutes of trying to open the gate, the serviceman exits his vehicle and tells me he'll have to call his boss and reschedule. My coworker is watching this interaction from the window of the room she is in, supervising the children. The morning goes by pretty uneventfully after this. Before leaving, I leave 2 notes on my boss's desk. One about the serviceman and the other about my availability change for the mornings. After returning home, I get a phone call from the second in charge, and she is absolutely fuming. She starts a rant by saying she understands the situation is not entirely my fault, but the key to open the gate is hanging up with all the other keys and it is definitely there. In fact, we have 2 keys, and when I come back for the afternoon shift, she would show them to me. She then continued on to say that next week we have our assessment and rating, and that because I did not unlock the gate and let the serviceman in, our center would look like crap. And because of me, we would fail, and it would be my fault. After all this, she finished by saying, "And the note you left about your availability change is not acceptable and needs to be sent via email. This has never been an issue before." I told her I would send an email straight away. So after I got off the phone, I called my best friend and asked her to help me write a professional email, as she was better at wording professional documents than I was. Roughly half an hour after I sent the email, my boss tried to call me. However, I choose to ignore it. I assume it was in regards to the resignation email I had sent, giving only 1 day's notice. This is legal in my country. Unfortunately, I will dearly miss the children I cared for. The next story is called The Old Rules. As part of my job, I have to travel a few times a year, roughly 5 to 6 times a year, for periods ranging from 3 days to 2 weeks. When that is the case, everything, plane ticket, plus hotel, plus food, is covered by my job under the following rule. I need to pay for everything out of pocket first and keep the receipts. I then submit them to the billing department, who approves the expenses and gives me back the amount in my following paycheck. However, about 6 months ago, everyone received an email from the higher-ups stating a change in rules. From now on, every food-related expense didn't need to be justified anymore. We would instead receive a fixed amount of money per meal, which totaled to around $80 to $90 per day, very generous I would say, and would be allowed to pocket whatever isn't used. The goal was to lighten the pressure on the billing department, because they were spending too much of their time checking every single receipt for every travel. And as time is money, they were planning on reducing costs. As soon as I read that, I was ecstatic, because I knew I was always spending much less than the allowed amount per day, so that would mean that I was going to get free extra money. However, my excitement was short-lived. Not even an hour after that first email, another email came from my direct supervisor that stated that we will continue to follow the old rules. Please disregard the previous email. After talking to some of my colleagues, we realized that our supervisor thought the amount we were allowed under the new rule was too high. He was trying to save money off us by making us stick to the old rule. On the first trip I went to after that email, I did the following. 8 AM. Light breakfast at the hotel, but then coffee at the shop across the street. 10 AM. I'm feeling a bit peckish. Let's get a banana from the supermarket and a small pastry from the bakery next door. And let's not forget a bottle of water from the kiosk nearby. 12 PM. Lunch at the restaurant, but I took the dessert in a tea room close by, and my noon coffee at the Star of Bucks. 4 PM. Time for a little snack. Let's get a chocolate bar at the grocery store and a boba tea in that little store there. 7 PM. Time for a pre-dinner drink at the local pub. 8 PM. Dinner at a restaurant. 9 PM. Let's not forget the water bottle for the night. I did this for the whole week I was traveling, making sure that for each day I spent as close as possible to the amount I was allowed to spend. So when I came back Instead of submitting around 20 receipts, 3 a day, I submitted around 150. And submitting the receipts was quite a long process. They were asking for a lot of information for every single one, like the amount in local currency, the conversion rate from my credit card, the corresponding amount in my currency, the address of the establishment, a short description of the purchase, etc. And I did this on company time, of course, which took over 3 hours to complete. Once I finished submitting all of these, I received a panicked email from the billing department, asking me why I submitted so many receipts and didn't follow the new rule. I forwarded them the email from my supervisor, saying that I was only following what I was told. One of my friends in admin told me that the billing department actually went through all my receipts, which took them a huge amount of time. My supervisor got a stern talking to from the higher ups, and from then on we were allowed to disregard all the food receipts. The third story is called Right to Work. This happened a few months ago. My boss at the time was upset with me for calling out their illegal practices to them. I and my coworkers were all younger people, mainly girls, so my boss thought that he would be able to easily manipulate us. When he told me to come to the front of the store to have a talk with him, he started yelling at me. He was telling me that this is a right to work state, so if you don't like it here, you can work somewhere else. I didn't want to do anything drastic, so I finished our conversation and left. That night, my coworker texted me and told me that my boss had called her and essentially just talked bad about me to her. I texted my boss right then, saying I've given some thought to our earlier conversation and I've decided to take your advice. I would like to tender my resignation effective immediately. That triggered a long queue of my other coworkers leaving as well. As far as I know, 8 others have left as well. And I don't think that it's ending at 8. The last story is called Gift Card Compliance. I have an IKEA credit card that gives me good cashback on their purchases. I purchased a large item from them and got a good amount of cashback. The only thing is that the cashback is given as a reward certificate that expires in a few weeks. This is to drive the customers back to the store to get them to spend more. But I didn't have anything in mind that I needed. I went to the store a few days before the reward certificate was expiring to get a gift card that doesn't expire. Can I get a gift card, please? I'd like to pay with the reward certificate. No, you can't buy gift cards with reward certificates. You can only buy other stuff. I don't need anything else today, and the reward certificate is expiring in a few days. Is there any way I can extend the expiration date? No. So I quickly grab a few items closest to the reward certificate amount and buy them with the reward certificate. Then I immediately go to a rerun counter to exchange it for a gift card and happily walk out of the store. I don't understand why they have this dual policy of charge expiration duration of the reward certificate and not selling gift cards with that. This only makes the customers frustrated. I got the credit card for a reason, to be a returning customer. Not sure how the reward experience would help that. And with that, we end today's video. Let me know what you think about the stories. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the stories and today's video? I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like what I do and want to support me, please subscribe and hit the like button. I hope you have a great day. Stay safe. Bye bye.